Today we're going to do a quick install video for the Safariland QLS. This is their quick locking system that kind of gives you the ability to not have to own 5 different holsters if you want to have a couple different belt setups. Fairly intuitive installation, but we are going to go through that, just answer any questions somebody else might have at a later time. You can get these things off Safariland's website and get them all over the internet. Safariland does offer 15% off for all first responders. If you're just buying one unit, it's about $37 on their website. You can buy a couple different setups with this, so you can have one package delivered and you'll have the ability to set up 3 to 4 different holsters. So hop on there, take a look, see which one's best for you, and we'll throw together just a quick little video of installation to kind of save yourselves a little bit of time when you're going through and putting this thing together. All right, so here's the components your setup's going to come with. We have our hardware and then our 2 systems here. So to get started, you're going to squeeze those 2 tabs at the bottom and then just pull and separate these 2 pieces. So as you can see, the way I bought it and set it up is I'll have the ability to attach and use to 2 different belts. You can buy it in a single like I was talking, or you end up 3 of these, 4 of these, however you want to do it. So the first thing we got to do, you got to have a holster. So I'm just going to take one of my old Safariland holsters that I robbed off of an older belt system. And this right here is the portion we're going to want. We're just going to want the portion that's going to attach to our belt. So we're going to pop these 3 off, and then we're going to kind of walk through how that process is going to look to attach it. So see you in just a moment. So once you've got your holster separated, then we can go ahead and move this guy to the side. That's actually going to go on our holster. So let's get rid of that. This plate right here is going to be the one that we're going to actually mount to our holster mount. So kind of common sense is going to dictate how that mounts. You can see our pattern right here. We're going to marry that up to this bolt pattern right here. To do so, they send a plethora of different hardware along with it, depending upon what holster you're running. If you have any other attachments, any spacers, they have some different lengths of some hardware. So I'm using the mid-length. It's kind of hard to see there, but this is their mid-length that I'm going to go with, versus they have a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. And these are basically a little threaded grommet looking thing with some little aggressive claws that are actually going to sit right down in the grooves on these. So they just slide right into place on here. So it'll be pretty common sense how that thing's supposed to mount. You just drop right in like that. So line up your bolt pattern, insert your hardware, get everything tightened down, and then we're going to move on to the next step. This thing does come with a little Allen key. I bet I have a bucket of those by now from all this shit, and it seems like they always send one with. I like to just get them loose to start, keep it somewhat in place, and then we'll crank it down later. I really had no use for this setup due to the fact that I was running a couple of different guns, but kind of changed up on how I'm doing things. So figured, why not join the trend? Loctite, some people are going to throw it on, others are not. I would always advocate for it, especially if you don't have any plans on taking this apart again, which I can't think of a great reason to pull this apart once you have it finished. So I would throw some Loctite on there. This setup right here is not going to be a duty setup. This is kind of a second one that I'm building to run out on the range. So if something does happen with this one, I'm not going to be too concerned. I'll have plenty of time to rectify any issue I am having. But if it's something that you're going to be running out on duty, I'd highly recommend you throw some Loctite on there to make sure things aren't going to get loose. And these can feel like you're stripping them out. It just seems like there's a little bit of shit in the threads as you're putting it in. So just be cognizant of that. You don't want to cross thread it. And I personally I hold on to all the hardware. I'm always doing some type of project, moving things from one setup to the next. So you never know when you're going to end up needing a little bit of hardware. Or if you drop something under a workbench or into the grate beyond under a vehicle or a floor grate, it's nice to have some extra stuff laying around, so I'm not having to sit and order anything from Safariland. All right, I think that'll be fine. All right, so that's on. We're good to go. And on to the next. So I'm not going to actually use this holster. This is just going to be for the video demonstration portion, but that's we're going to go ahead and attach and marry up the second half of the clip. So kind of starting to take shape here, but as you're kind of seeing, firearm's going to mount there, lock in and clip, versus having to unstring it from your belt setup. Gives you a couple different options for the ability to cant this thing. As you can kind of see there, you have the ability to have it sit straight up, straight down, or have a little bit of cant to it. Just user preference. I prefer my stuff straight up and down, so that's how I'm going to mount it. Break into the hardware. This one, I'm going to use the longest screw. Looks like a little bit of depth there, so we'll go ahead and toss the long one in there. And being that this is for video purposes, I'm not going to hammer these ones down too tight. All right, and as far as what side is up or down, when you're trying to figure out which way you need to lay this plate, you can actually see there is that divot right here that's cut out to where your hardware is going to be laying flush in there when this thing's tight. So it's not sitting, jutted out, running anything. It'll sit nice and flush once this thing's tightened down. Oh, what the heck, for video purposes, we'll just go ahead and hammer it down real quick. It's going to take about a second anyway. All right, ta-da. So to marry the two up, this is going to be on your belt. Simple insert and click, and you're on. Easy enough. Follow the instructions, and when I say that, I guess if you're looking for the instructions, it's not like the old days, they actually don't package that anymore. You have to scan the barcode. So there's a barcode on the packaging that'll take you to another instructional video that I'm sure is much worse than this, but who knows? Take a look at this. If this didn't help you out, hop on there and check out the barcode. So that is their QLS system. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, concerns, anything you did different, throw that down in the comments. Please give me a like. Please give me a share. Appreciate it.